Doyin Okupe, those involved in drugs and those who gave money are living free, Tanko Yusuf laments. It is no longer news that Doyin Okupe, the campaign director of the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, has been convicted for money laundering. On Monday, Justice Ijeoma Ojukwu of a federal high court sitting in Abuja found Okupe guilty of receiving over 200 million naira in cash from former National Security Advisor Sambo Dasuki, ruling that his actions violated the Money Laundering Act. Okupe was forced to pay a fine of 13 million naira to escape being jailed. In reaction to Okupe's conviction, the spokesperson of the Labour Party, Tanko Yusuna, claimed that the ruling of the court was aimed at demarcating the Labour Party's presidential flag bearer, Peter Obi. In his words, he said, "If you are going to do it on all the candidates who have cases in court." Further speaking, he stated, "Those who are said to have given the money are living free, and those who have been involved in drugs or corruption at the highest level have not been touched." That made us start thinking that this particular decision or the judgment of the court is another judgmental pick and choose one, because those who are supposed to have been convicted are not convicted. This is what happens when you're in a system like Nigeria's, because rather than focusing on, criminal activities, the level at which corruption has gotten to in this country has literally resulted in cases like this, whereby one will be convicted, but then you have worse criminals who are living free. So really, when you talk about judgment, equity, and fairness, where does it come in? It doesn't take away from the fact that the act, the criminal activity, or the ongoing past criminal activities that have not even been settled in court, it doesn't take away from the fact that these are criminal and do have consequences that follow these activities. But when you think of everything, and again, it's a valid argument, it shouldn't be the argument, but the argument is, if you have worse people, for example, where did the money even come from? Because you cannot convict whoever laundered the money and not convict the individuals that transferred or gave this money out. So really, in a corrupt country like Nigeria, where we are so used and we're so conditioned to accept abnormalities and crimes like this, rather than focusing on the crime itself and how that is a problem in itself, this system of impunity has allowed for blame shifting, for technicalities. Let's argue this way and that way for this person to be out. At the end of the day, if the spokesperson of the Labour Party is going to say, well, this is a disguised hit or jab at Peter Obi, it's not surprising. Again, it doesn't have to be the courts or the judicial system to carry that out. Peter Obi has been receiving jabs from the beginning through different avenues, including association with IPOB that has been dubbed a terrorist organization. So anything they'd find, they would. I think, of course, 30 million naira to escape being jailed and paying as a fine. Well, he's paid the consequences for that. Again, if it's someone who was, who did not have connections or have the money, then I guess they'd be in jail. But I think the bigger issue here is not necessarily the argument of, well, you have others that have committed more crimes. The issue, the bigger picture is, no matter, who has been convicted or whoever had been in, Doyin Okupe's position, the point is, there will always be blame shifting, and the conversation would shift from the actual crime and what that entails, and then it shifts to the argument of, well, people have done worse, so this person should not be held guilty. And it is valid in the context of Nigerian corruption and politics, but obviously we know that it is not right. Let's look at the comment section below. Why Tinubu and Atiku, the real notorious criminal, contested for president, and the same government is protecting especially the failure, that's still money with a bullion van. I don't think this country can be good with this type of politics and injustice. Absolutely. I mean, you literally have the whole Abakari situation, and I've never really seen, to be honest, a government really defend and a government actually defend someone who looks to be evidently guilty. Not that we can confirm that, but you have a case. The FBI asked for this individual to be in America for them to go through the court proceedings, and this individual has not gone. The government has protected Abakari beyond anything. So it's like you look at someone like that and you're like, wow, the government can risk everything to protect one of its own. That we can clearly say this individual needs to be tried, but no. So again, of course, Nigeria cannot survive. The whole system needs to be abolished. It needs to be built again, because really, when it comes to fixing corruption and all that, we really have to change the perception of people. We need to change the constitution. We need to change a whole lot. We need to change the system itself, because trying to fix an already broken system is like you cannot use the master's tools to destroy the master's house. It does not make sense. So really, everything has to be started, like we need to start from the beginning, because this is not a good look for Nigeria at all. So in terms of fixing this issue, literally, you've got to start again. We have got to start again, because this system, we can't depend on, let's say we want development and we want, positive change. We cannot depend on an individual. That is the problem. I think, especially with us, looking to the first world countries as for comparison, it's like they already have a working system that has been strengthened and developed for more than 100 years, at least. Therefore, why the system can keep running is not dependent on the individual that comes into office. Rather, the individual goes into the office and goes into a system that is already established, and what they have to do is follow the system. We need to create our own system from scratch, because this isn't it. Because what happens is, given our current Nigerian system, anybody can go into office. Whatever they find, they adapt to it. The system will not hold them accountable. In fact, the system emboldens them to continue heinous crimes and acts. So yes, this is where we are as a country. Rather than focusing on the crime and focusing on, how to fix our issues, we lose the picture, and then we start talking about, well, this person did this. Why would you jail this person? Or this person did this. How can you say this? We find technicalities, and these technicalities hinder our progress. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and subscribe.